Hello and good evening, friends, and welcome to another edition of Strictly Sports NFL Saturday. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher. We are awaiting the presence of Michael Bullock. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we'll have him tomorrow night for our recap of the WWE Clash of Champions pay per view. During this show tonight, MF and I will do our very best to keep you updated on the big story in the sports world right now. Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals. The Tampa Bay Lightning are up 3-1, and Game 5 has just gone into sudden death overtime once again. If the Lightning score, they will win the Stanley Cup. If the Stars score, then we will go to a Game 6 on Monday night. As soon as that golden goal goes down, we will bring it to you as quickly as we can. So we will keep an eye on that. But for right now, we're going to get into this Week 3 edition of Strictly Sports NFL Saturday. Week 3 started just the other night, this past Thursday night, a game between the Miami Dolphins and the Jacksonville Jaguars. And at the end of the night, it was MF's Miami Dolphins who found the win column for the first time in 2020 with a very dominant 31-13 win at TIAA Field in Jacksonville. Ryan Fitzpatrick, a huge game for him, and a big win for the Dolphins. And I'll admit, I picked Jacksonville to win this game. Because I figured with how great Jacksonville looked in the first 2 games, I thought maybe they had a chance to win, considering they were at home. But the Dolphins had other plans. They had that sense of urgency, and they showed it. And what a big night for the Dolphins. And I know MF was very pleased with how that game turned out. So I'll do my best to get the other numbers here, but I don't want to have too many things open here, especially with numbers and whatnot. Well, maybe I can get it. Okay. But a big win though, nonetheless, and we'll see if it leads to something for the Miami Dolphins down the road. But it does not get easier because they got to go home next week and they got to host the Seattle Seahawks. That is not going to be easy for them. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 2 touchdown passes, 18 out of 20 for 160 yards. And Fitzpatrick also had a rushing touchdown as well. And Jordan Howard, 1-yard rushing touchdown. Mike Gesicki, a receiving touchdown. Preston Williams, a receiving touchdown. Defense played very well. Let's see, 1, 2, 2.5, 3.5. Defense recording 4 sacks and an interception. And the kicking game, Jason Sanders, a perfect night. He only had to kick 1 field goal and 4 extra points. So yeah, an all-around great game for the Miami Dolphins. Gardner Minshew, for the most part, 30 of 42, 275 yards. But he threw an interception, no touchdown passes. James Robinson, 2 rushing touchdowns for them, 46 yards. And Robinson was also the leading receiver with 83 yards. And defense recording only 1 sack. And that was basically it. But this was more about the Miami Dolphins than anything else. And, they needed this win. That's all there is to say about that. I mean, you start 0-3. I mean, that's not easy to recover from. So a humongous win for the Dolphins, to say the very least. But it does not get any easier, like I said, because you got Russell Wilson in Seattle coming in to Hard Rock next week. So, ooh, boy, MF, that's not going to be easy. But there you go. 31-13, Miami beats Jacksonville. So I'm going to turn it over to a very happy Dolphin fan, good old MF Michael Fletcher. MF, I mean, they did not play well against New England. They played well against Buffalo, but they came up just short. But Thursday night, it was all Miami all the time in Jacksonville, and I know you couldn't be any more delighted.
Yeah, this was the Dolphins we were waiting to see all season long, and you kind of felt like there were glimpses, especially in the game against Buffalo. Our defense basically let us down in that game because offensively we played great. Defensively let us down, and that's why Miami lost that game. But this time around, it was really a tale of 2 halves. first half, Miami's offense was shining and absolutely dominated the game, and our defense kind of was very lackadaisical as usual, so we didn't really do that much. Second half really was Miami was trying to emphasize the running game. They really try to exploit the running game, try to milk the clock and everything else. But the defense stood on its head and rose to the occasion. Got a big sack on the Gardner Minshew, and then one of the big players, Xavier Howard, Pro Bowl safety for Miami last year, got an interception. He's been injury prone. He's been dealing with the hamstring for most of the season since last season where he had a knee injury. So he's still dealing with the knee and everything else. And then boom, he exploded, had a big game. Looks like he's got the burst of speed like he used to have like a couple of years ago. And then got the INT, and we were hoping that he got the INT. Once he got it, that pretty much was the deal breaker for Miami, and yeah, like we said, it opened the Pandora's box. So hopefully this is a sign of good things to come. But like you said, next week is a tough game. You're going back to Miami. That's good, but you're welcoming Seattle and Russell Wilson, Chris Carson, DK Metcalf and those boys, and a defense that looks a lot more better on paper because they definitely shined, especially against the Patriots last week. And we're going to get into them because they got a pretty good game coming up this week, a pretty big matchup for them this weekend. And we'll get into their game in just a little bit. But yeah, this was a very, very good victory game, and for my boy Ryan Fitzpatrick, the Fitzmagic was there. There's been a lot of chatter. When are we going to get Tua? When are we going to get Tua? When are we going to see Tua Tagovailoa? When are we going to see the future of the Miami Dolphins? We got a quarterback right now. Other than the bad game that he had against the Patriots where he threw 3 interceptions, Ryan Fitzpatrick has been very good. Man, you know what? My boy Pat McAfee says it best. The boy has a brain of a Harvard and a body like a plumber. He is very reminiscent of a Super Mario brother, because that's what you get from Ryan Fitzpatrick, man. Feared the beard is what I say. Florio, it's yours.
Oh my. I don't know how to follow that, but we're going to do our best. But now, with all that being said, let's get into our remaining action of week 3. And we're going to start it off with a game from the NFC side of things. Over on the Fox side of things, we're going to see the Chicago Bears squaring off against the Atlanta Falcons, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. And on the call for that one, it will be, let me see here. It will be Albert with Jonathan Vilma and Shannon Zeke. Atlanta opening up as a 3-point favorite, and series history favors the Chicago Bears 14-13. They last met 3 years ago, 2017 in Chicago, Atlanta winning 23-17. Last meeting in Atlanta was 2014 in Atlanta, Chicago winning that one 27-13. I believe that was at the old Georgia Dome. Falcons haven't beaten the Bears at home since 2009. That was a 21-14 win in the Georgia Dome. So we'll hit the hard reset button here, and I'll take this first one for a spin with the Chicago Bears and the Atlanta Falcons. So here we go. I do apologize. That's a little. I mean, you know the routine. All right, here we go. Yep, another refresh, of course, automatically. All right, here we go. What to watch for? The Falcons are 0-2. Falcons are 0-2 in a must-win season for Coach Dan Quinn, and a home loss to a subpar Bears team would make Quinn's hot seat even hotter. The Falcons have to stick to the formula of balance on offense. All right, hold on a minute. I do apologize, folks. I mean, this thing's acting weird. It keeps pushing me back up to the top, which I don't like, but it still does it. All right, here we go. The Falcons have to stick to the formula of balance on offense and creating turnovers on defense. A rash of injuries to players such as Julio Jones and Dante Fowler Jr. might be their big obstacle this week, but the game is too critical to use injuries as a crutch. Bold prediction, Bears running back David Montgomery rushes for 100-plus yards for just the third time in his NFL career. Chicago had one of the worst rushing attacks in 2019, but head coach Matt Nagy entered the season with a renewed determination to run the football. Montgomery gained 82 yards on the ground and 16 carries versus the Giants last Sunday. The former third-round pick who dealt with a groin injury over the summer is on the verge of having a breakout performance. Stat to know, after catching a pair in each of Atlanta's first 2 games of the season, Falcons receiver Calvin Ridley now has 21 career receiving touchdowns, second most by a Falcons player over his first 3 seasons. Andre Rison had 22. That's the only one who had more. What to know for fantasy? The Falcons have allowed the top scoring fantasy quarterback in each of the first 2 weeks, and Mitchell Trubisky does have the third best fantasy quarter by a QB this season, fourth quarter of week 1. Betting nugget, the Falcons are 4-8 as the home favorite in the past 3 seasons. Atlanta is the FPI favorite, 54.9%, just about 55%. I got to go with the Atlanta Falcons here. I think they're due for a win here. I think they'll beat the Chicago Bears. And I think maybe they might. I think Chicago will give them fits for most of the game, but I think Atlanta will pull away at the end. But I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons, 35-21. Really nothing more to say on this. MF, I mean, all the pressure is on the Atlanta Falcons, especially after the choke job of the century a week ago against Dallas.
Oh, Atlanta. Have you learned your lesson yet? Does not seem like you have. Choked in the Super Bowl. Choked last week against Dallas. I can't understand you whatsoever. I mean, my God, there's really nothing more to add, Anthony. You pretty much said it. I'm gonna say this. I think, look, Chicago's D is a lot better than advertised. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, but it's the Bears, it's Mitchell Trubisky, it's, the whole 9 yards, and they're not going to be that good, and, the whole, and you get all these negativity, and I don't know, you kind of dump on the team and everything else. But the last time I checked, Chicago's 2-0. Now, I get it, hold on. Everybody's like, but Mike, they went up against the New York Giants. So, obviously, they were supposed to win that game. All right, I'll give you that. And, yeah, they beat Detroit. So, this is the first, I guess you could say, major test. Matt Ryan's played great. 6 touchdowns to 1 interception. But Mitchell Trubisky's done pretty well. He only has 5 touchdowns to 2 INTs. Gurley's done pretty well for himself. Got a touchdown. Ridley and Julio Jones right now are really pacing the team. And I just don't see how that can go either way. Now, I get it. A lot of people's like, the surefire thing is go at Atlanta. They're at home, this and that. I'm sorry. Atlanta played at home already this year. First game of the season. And they laid an egg, and that was against Seattle. And then you lose to Dallas, and then next week you gotta play Green Bay. Okay, good luck with that. And it's at Lambeau Field? Yeah, good luck with that. I'm sorry, Anthony, I disagree with you. I'm going with the Chicago Bears. I think they're gonna steal this game. Final score 21-17. Bears win. They are gonna go 3-0. And yes, I'll say it, the Bears. Florio, is yours.
All right. And we move on to our next matchup, which will also be on Fox. The first of what I will call 2 sleeper games of the week right here. The Los Angeles Rams squaring off against my Buffalo Bills Stadium in Orchard Park, New York, over on Fox. Chris Myers, Brock Heward, Greg Jennings, Jennifer Hale on the call. Buffalo opening up as a 2-point favorite. Series history favors the Buffalo Bills 7-5. They last met in 2016 in LA, and Buffalo won that game 30-19. Last meeting in Buffalo was 2012, and the Rams, the then St. Louis Rams, went into Buffalo and stole one 15-12. The Bills last beat the Rams at home in 2004. That was a 37-17 final. But MF, started with you here. Rams and Buffalo, the first of two sleeper games of the week. This is the Fox one. The other one's on our side of the ledger. And I'll tell you, I mean, Rams 2-0, Bills 2-0. It's in Buffalo. As a Bills fan, if I told you I wasn't scared of this game, I'd be lying to my damn teeth.
Well, the thing is, there's really no reason to be scared with this game. LA's got to come from west to east. That's normally never a good matchup. Plus, Buffalo is they're hitting on all cylinders. Think about it. Last week, Allen absolutely carved up the Miami Dolphin defense. They carved them up for 400 yards passing. Never in the history of the game has Miami ever given up, like, it's been a long time since we've given up 400 yards in the passing game. And Allen carved them up. They couldn't stop Diggs. I think that's going to be a big factor. Running the ball is going to be fine. But you know what? You got, Jared Goff. I think he's going to do well in the game as well. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup. But I got to go with Buffalo. I feel like they're the better team. They're going to be fine. I think they're going to get the job done. I think they're going to win this game. So my final score is 31-28. Buffalo knocks off the Rams, and I do believe the Rams will get their first loss of the game, or the first loss of the season. So nothing more to say. I'm going to go with Buffalo to win. So Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely makes me feel better. I mean, but I'm not taking it lightly. I'm not, because the Rams are a very good team. I mean, anyways, what to watch for? Bills quarterback Josh Allen leads the NFL in scramble yards since entering the league in 2018, but Rams defensive tackle Aaron Donald ranks second in the league in sacks since 2014. Its unstoppable force meets immovable object, and something's got to give. Bold prediction: Rams running back Darrell Henderson Jr. rushes for 100-plus yards. Yes, the Bills rank third in the NFL in rushing defense, allowing an average of 75.5 rushing yards a game. But Henderson gained 121 all-purpose yards in the Week 2 win over Miami last week, and he says he wasn't even 100% with a lingering hamstring injury. Watch for him to find another gear in a breakout performance. Stat to know: Stephon Diggs has 239 receiving yards this season, tied for the most in the NFL. The most receiving yards through the first 3 games of a season in Bills history is 352 by Peerless Price back in 2002. What to know for fantasy? 2 of Allen's top 5 fantasy games of his career have come this season, and he's averaging 65% more points per pass attempt than he did last season. The betting nugget: the Rams are 13-5 against the spread since the start of last season, and they're 2-0 this season. Buffalo, slight FPI favorite, 52.9%, just about 53%. But I do agree with you, MF. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills, but my confidence level is not all that high. But I'm still going with my team nonetheless. 24-21, Buffalo beats LA and goes to 3-0 on the year. I mean, and I can't tell you how much that encourages me. So in a year where I believe this could be that year of destiny we've been waiting a long time for. I know I have. So anyways, let's get into our next game here. Sticking and yet again, we're on the Fox side of things. We're going to see the Washington football team square off against the Cleveland Browns. First Energy Stadium in Cleveland. That's where the game will be. And this one will be over on Fox, as I mentioned. And on the call for this one, it will be Kevin Kugler, Chris Spielman, and Laura Oakman. And Cleveland opening up as a 7-point favorite. Series history favors the Cleveland Browns 33-12 with a tie. Their last meeting was 2016 in Washington. Washington won 31-20. Matter of fact, Washington's won the last 3 meetings in this series, including the last meeting in Cleveland in 2012. Washington won 38-21. Browns last beat the Redskins overall and at home in 2004. 17-13 was the final score there. So now let's get into Washington and Cleveland. As soon as I can find it. Okay. What to watch for? Can Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield and receiver Odell Beckham Jr. build off their breakout performance in Week 2 against Cincinnati? They finally connected on several big plays together, including a 43-yard touchdown. Before that, OBJ had only 4 TD grabs since being traded to Cleveland last spring. Bold prediction, Beckham will have his first 100-yard receiving day since October 13th last season. He had 74 yards last week and is now facing a secondary that has allowed too many players to get behind it. Washington will be so focused on stopping running backs Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt that Beckham will benefit off play action. Beckham has 2 catches for 59 yards off play action this season. He'll add to that total. Stat to know, Washington leads the NFL with 11 sacks over its first 2 games, and 13.8% of opponent pass attempts have resulted in sacks, the second highest rate in the NFL behind Indianapolis at 15.2%. What to know for fantasy? Half of Beckham's points this season have come on a single catch, but that could work out as only 2 teams have allowed more 25-plus yard receptions than Washington this season. Betting nugget, the Browns have failed to cover in their past 5 games dating back to last season. Cleveland, the FPI favorite, 63.4%. I'm going with the Cleveland Browns to win this game. My final score, 27-19. Cleveland beats Washington. So nothing more to say. Mayfield and Beckham, they finally got going last week with that Thursday night win over Cincinnati. I say they keep the momentum up against the Washington football team.
Yeah, but you also got to be very careful with that because the Washington football team can definitely win a game. They did stun a lot of people over knocking off Philadelphia in that first game of the season. So I mean, they're not to be taken lightly. But yeah, I think what happened last week is I think finally, I believe finally Cleveland finally found their identity. And I think that's the best way to say it. I think they finally found their identity. I think they finally figured it out, and I do believe that they'll get the job done. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think Cleveland will get the job done, and they will win this game. And I got Cleveland knocking off the Washington football team as well. So nothing more to add, Anthony. Let's just move right on along.
And we're finally going to our side of the ledger, the mothership, as we will have the Tennessee Titans squaring off against the Minnesota Vikings from US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. This game will be over on CBS. And on the call for that one will be Andrew Catalon, James Lofton, and AJ Ross. Tennessee is opening up as a 3-point favorite, and the series history favors the Minnesota Vikings 9-4. Vikings have won the last 2 meetings in this series. They last met in 2016, 25-16 in Nashville. Last meeting in Minnesota was 2012. Minnesota won that one 30-7. The last time that the Tennessee Titan franchise won in Minnesota, you got to go back to their days as the Houston Oilers when they won in 1992 at the old Metrodome, 17-13. So nothing more to say on this. Tale of 2 teams here, MF. Tennessee looking to prove that their run to the AFC title game last year was not a fluke. So far, so good. They're 2-0.
Yep.
After hard-fought wins over Denver and Jacksonville. But the big question is, what is going on with the Minnesota Vikings? They're 0-2.
Yeah, they've lost their identity. Offensively, they're just not gelling. Normally, you would think that you give the football to Dalvin Cook, and he's been getting touchdowns. But Kirk Cousins has been very limited. You haven't seen much, and you haven't seen much in the way of great play by Adam Thielen. I think the Stephon Diggs trade or for shopping him away, sending him to Buffalo, I think has been a detriment to Minnesota. Buffalo's definitely benefited. Minnesota, it's definitely hurt them. So I definitely think it's that kind of a situation right now that they're just not playing good, and they need to turn it around. Defensively, they're not doing it pretty well, even though Tennessee's defense is not as great as they were a year ago. But offensively, when you got guys like Derrick Henry, when you get A.J. Brown, but A.J. Brown is hurt, but Corey Davis is played awfully well. So, I mean, and Ryan Tannehill, I mean, oh my God, Tannehill. I mean, how the hell are you playing like this when you were not playing like that for the Miami Dolphins? What? That's Mike Vrabel for you. He's been a really good coach for him. It's been a blessing in disguise for the team, and we can't be too angry with the way that they've been playing. So, nothing more to add. I got Tennessee winning and going to 3-0. Florio, it is yours.
Yeah. You said it. I mean, very surprising what's going on in Minnesota. But anyways, what to watch for? Will the Vikings offense be able to keep up with Tennessee's scoring pace? Minnesota's defense has struggled to get its opponents off the field, and the lack of opportunities for its offensive playmakers, not named Adam Thielen, has been noticeable. Is this the week when the offense leans heavily on running back Dalvin Cook, and can quarterback Kirk Cousins finally involve rookie receiver Justin Jefferson and or tight end Irv Smith Jr.? Bold prediction, Titan quarterback Ryan Tannehill will finish with 300-plus passing yards. That might not seem so bold, but here's something to consider. Tannehill has finished with 300 or more passing yards only 3 times since taking over in Week 7 last season. Defenses are focused on stopping Derrick Henry, which presents one-on-one matchups with the receivers. Tannehill in the passing game should have the advantage against a depleted Vikings secondary in those situations. Stat to know, the Titans are seeking their first 3-0 start since 2008. That year, they started 10-0 and finished the year 13-3. And the Vikings are trying to avoid their first 0-3 start since 2013, the last Viking team to lose 10-plus games. What to know for fantasy? Since 2018, Henry is averaging 54.4% more points per game when his team is favored than when it is the underdog. Betting nugget, Minnesota is 7-3 against the spread as a home underdog under Coach Mike Zimmer, including the playoffs. But I'm sorry, even though Minnesota is the slight FPI favorite at 51.5%, I'm sorry. I got to go with the Tennessee Titans to win this game. I 100% agree with MF on this one. 31-20, Tennessee beats Minnesota. So they go to 3-0 for the first time since 2008. So nothing more to say. Now let's move on to the other sleeper game. The other sleeper game of the week. And this one is on our side of the ledger. The Las Vegas Raiders squaring off against the New England Patriots at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough on CBS, 1 o'clock Eastern, like all these games we've been doing are. And for the second time in 3 weeks, hello, friends. Yes, Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson will be in Foxborough again. They will be on the call for this Raider-Patriot matchup. New England opening up as a 6-point favorite. Series history favors the New England Patriots 17-14 with a tie. Their last meeting was 2017 in Mexico, where the New England Patriots absolutely dominated 33-8. Patriots have won the last 5 meetings with the Raiders. The Raiders have not beaten the Patriots since 2002 on a Sunday night game. That was in Oakland. Last time they won in Foxborough, you got to go all the way back to 1994 at the old Foxborough Stadium. That was a 21-17 final. It's the other sleeper game of the week, but to be honest, this is the number 2 game on our side of the ledger. Only one game's bigger. I think you all know which one that is. We'll get to that later on, but Raiders-Patriots, here we go. What to watch for? How the Patriots plan to cover Raiders tight end Darren Waller, 18 catches, is the game within the game. In week 1, second-year defensive back Joejuan Williams was primarily assigned to cover Dolphin tight end Mike Gesicki, but that's because the Patriots view Gesicki as more of a wide receiver. Waller has a more complete skill set that makes him a true tight end, and the Raiders move him around a lot, even putting him in the backfield at times. So finding and locating Waller is the first challenge. Bold prediction, Patriots quarterback Cam Newton will rush for at least 2 touchdowns. At an athletic 6'5", 245 pounds, he is bigger than any linebacker or defensive back the Raiders have on their active roster. So Newton, called a quote-unquote power forward by Raiders coach John Gruden, is chomping at the bit to run the read option. Stat to know, the Raiders have the second highest offensive efficiency rating, 90.6 in the NFL through week 2. Only Green Bay with 94 is higher. They have scored 30-plus points in their first 2 games, but have not done so in 3 straight games since weeks 7 to 9 of the 2016 season, the last season they made the playoffs. What to know for fantasy? Waller saw a career-high 16 targets in week 2, and his 24 targets through 2 weeks are the third most in the NFL. Betting nugget, New England is 51-26 against the spread after a loss in the Bill Belichick era, including 40-15 against the spread since 2003. New England is the FPI favorite, 63.4%. I think this game will be a 5-star Shakespearean drama classic, but at the end of the day, I got to go with the New England Patriots in this one. 35-34, New England beats Las Vegas in what I believe will be one hell of a game. No doubt about it. So there's nothing more to say. MF, when the schedule first came out, we were like, we don't know about this. But after what the Vegas Raiders did last Monday night against New Orleans, and after what the Patriots did against Seattle, this game just got a hell of a lot more interesting.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But I kind of partially disagree with you on one thing, is that the way that this game is supposed to handle, I don't think the Raiders can hang with the Patriots. I think it's not gonna be as exclusive as a lot of people have been claiming it as. I kind of feel like New England will figure it out, as they always do, and they'll get the job done. I think the defense will definitely try to take Waller out of the game, which I think they will be able to, which will open the door for New England to get the job done and win the game. So I'm sorry, I disagree with you, Anthony, on one thing: the score. It's not going to be as close as you think it's going to be. Everybody's like, oh, this is going to be a tough game. This is going to be a tough game. I'm going to say it like this: New England wins, and they're going to win. I'm not going to say pretty comfortably, but it's not going to be that high scoring, high level type game that you were predicting. I don't think it's going to be nowhere close to that kind of ending. I'm sorry, I disagree. My final score is 27-17, and I got the New England Patriots beating the Raiders of Vegas. So, Florio, it's yours.
All right, and we move on to our next game. Back on the Fox side of the ledger, you can make an argument that this is one of the Zonk games of the week right here. The San Francisco 49ers squaring off against the New York Giants, MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey, in the Meadowlands. Kevin Burkhardt, Daryl Moose Johnston, Pam Oliver, they will have the call for that one. And San Francisco opening up as a 3.5-point favorite. The Giants lead the all-time series 17-16. Their last meeting was 2 years ago in San Francisco. The Giants won 27-23. Last meeting in New York was 2015. Giants won that one 30-27. The Niners last won in New York in 2014. That was a 16-10 final. But MF, I mean, once upon a time when these two teams got together, it was exciting. This time around, not so much. I mean, look at all the injuries. I mean, Jimmy G's out, Kittle's out, Saquon Barkley done for the year. Ugh, this game's not going to be so fun to watch.
No, it's not. And the thing is that if you're the New York Giants, this is probably your best chance of winning, because of the fact that, A, you don't have to deal with the best defensive player. Joey Bosa is out. He's also injured. He's done for the season. So, I mean, you're going to become a one-dimensional team because of the fact that you're going to have to rely on the passing game. That means Slayton is going to have a big game. He's going to have to step up. Shepard's going to have to step up. Golden Tate's going to have to step up, because you're going to need to win those games to get it there. As far as the 49ers go, yeah, like you said, a lot of injuries is the factor. But defensively, you're still a sound team. You're still really strong. You're just going to have to make the best out of it. So at the end of the day, I do believe the Niners will get the job done. I think they will win the game. It's going to be close. It's not going to be pretty. 17-13 is my final score. So, Yeah, I'm going to go with the 49ers to win the game over the Giants. But like I said, Anthony, like you said, it's not going to be the perfect game. It's not going to be a great matchup, but there's really nothing more to add. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Ooh, this game is not going to be pretty. It's not going to be fun. This game's going to suck. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. What to watch for? Who is playing and where for each team? The 49ers are without their top two running backs, quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, defensive rookie of the year Nick Bosa, not Joey Bosa, and several others. The Giants are missing Saquon Barkley and Sterling Shepard. Who takes their spots? And can they be capable fill-ins? Start with 49ers backup quarterback Nick Mullins and newly signed Giants running back Devontae Freeman. All eyes will be on those two. Bold prediction, 49ers running back Jerick McKinnon will have his first 100-plus yard rushing game since 2014 and just the third in his career. With Raheem Mostert and Tevin Coleman out because of knee sprains, McKinnon will have an expanded role this week, and he gets it against the Giants defense that has been shoddy against the run over the first 2 weeks and hasn't seen a rushing attack as dangerous as the Niners unit yet. McKinnon will take advantage and reach the end zone for the third time in as many weeks. Stat to know, Giants quarterback Daniel Jones has 9 games with at least 2 turnovers since 2019, tied with Jameis Winston for the most in the NFL in that span, and that includes 3 straight dating back to last season. What to know for fantasy? It's been over 1,000 days since McKinnon, roughly 80% available, has had 15 carries in a game. But with Mostert and Coleman out, the path to volume has been paved. Betting nugget, since 2017, the Giants are 2-14 against the spread as a home underdog of less than 7 points. San Francisco, big FPI favorite, 67.3%. I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers to win as well. A little more higher scoring than MF has it. I'm going to say 20-17. San Francisco beats the Giants. So really nothing more to say on that one. Let's see here. Moving on, two more early games left, and they're both on our side of the ledger. This is, because of records, this is the Zonk game of the week on our side of the ledger because both of these teams are 0-2. It's going to be the Cincinnati Bengals squaring off against the Philadelphia Eagles, Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. And on the call for that one, it will be Spiro Ditas and Adam Archuleta. And Philadelphia opening up as a 4.5-point favorite. Cincinnati, though, leads the all-time series 9-3 with a tie. Cincinnati's won the last 2 meetings in this series. Well, they've won 3 out of the last 4 because in 2008, you remember, they had a tie in Cincinnati. So 3 out of the last 4 in favor of Cincinnati, including the last meeting in Philadelphia in 2012, 34-13, Cincinnati won. Eagles last beat the Bengals at home in the year 2000. That was a 16-7 win at the old Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. So Cincinnati, Philadelphia. What to watch for? This game will be decided on whether the Eagles can generate a pass rush. Bengals rookie quarterback Joe Burrow has been sacked 6 times this season, tied for the 5th most in the NFL, while the Eagles defense ranks toward the bottom of the league with 4 sacks generated. With defensive tackle Fletcher Cox oblique, ailing, the pressure falls to players like Brandon Graham and Malik Jackson to turn up the heat. Bold prediction, Eagles running back Miles Sanders will rush for at least 150 yards. The Bengals' run defense has been woeful through the first 2 weeks of the season. With defensive tackles Geno Atkins and Mike Daniels potentially out for another week, Sanders could be in for a big day. Stat to know, Philadelphia quarterback Carson Wentz has struggled with accuracy this season. He's completing just 58.8% of his passes, well below his expected completion percentage of 67.7%, according to NFL Next Gen stats. That's the second worst completion percentage over expectation, minus 8.8% in the NFL, according to NFL Next Gen stats. Behind Dwayne Haskins, 10.6%. And after throwing multiple interceptions 2 times all of last season, Wentz has thrown 2 in each of his first 2 games this year. No Eagles quarterback has done so in 3 straight games since Ron Jaworski, Jaws, in 1985. What to know for fantasy? Burrow's 61 pass attempts were the highlight of Thursday Night Football, but don't overlook his 15 rushing attempts this season, 5th most among quarterbacks. Betting nugget, the Bengals are 13-0 against the spread all-time against the Eagles. Philadelphia, 60.4% favorite, just over 60% for Philly. I think the Philadelphia Eagles will finally break through and win their first game of the year. 30-20, Philadelphia over Cincinnati, get their first win. So nothing more to say. MF, your thoughts on our Zonk game of the week, Cincy and Philly, both 0-2.
Yeah, something's gonna have to give in this game, and you know what? I'm on the fence on this one. I feel like Philadelphia really can turn it around. I don't know why. I feel like Philly is gonna get the job done. Don't get me wrong. Love Cincinnati. Love their body of work. Love what they bring to the table. I just feel like Philly is gonna finally figure it out, get the job done, get their first win. So I'm kind of partially in a disagreement. I'm gonna go with Philadelphia to win, and I think they'll beat Cincinnati. So for the first time tonight, disagreement in the house. So I got Philly winning, and the final score I got is 24-21. Philly wins. Anthony, it's yours.
MF, you misheard me. I had Philly winning as well. I didn't say Cincy. I got Philly winning 30-20. So it is
Oh,
an
okay.
agreement.
All right. So it is an agreement. All right. I thought you said Cincy. All right.
Ooh, no.
All right. All right.
Not here.
Okay.
But we'll see. Maybe, I think they will win eventually, but not here. So that's all there is to say. And we move on to our final 1 o'clock game of the week. Also on our side of the ledger, I believe I put this as our number 3 or 4 game of this week. The Houston Texans squaring off against the Pittsburgh Steelers at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. Iron Eagle, Charles Davis, Evan Washburn will have the call. Pittsburgh opening up as a 4-point favorite. And the series history, I do believe it favors the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, it does. Pittsburgh leads the all-time series 4-2. Steelers have won the last 2 meetings in this series. They last met on Christmas Day in 2017 in Houston. Pittsburgh won going away 34-6. Last meeting in Pittsburgh was in 2014. Pittsburgh won 30-23. Texans have only won in Pittsburgh once, and that was the very first meeting of these two teams back in 2002 when Houston went into Pittsburgh and won 24-6. So nothing more to say here. MF, Houston, not looking good. They're 0-2. Pittsburgh looking for a 3-0 start. And how about this? We're going to see all 3 Watt brothers in this game. JJ, TJ, and Derek all in the same game.
Absolutely. This is going to be a first time I can ever remember that this is going to happen. But I got to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, Pittsburgh's just been playing out of their mind. They've been playing incredible hockey, incredible football. There's really nothing more to add. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh to win this one, and I think they're going to win this going away. So I really got nothing more to add. So Steelers win. And Anthony, let's move on.
What to watch for? The Steelers have blitzed % of the time season, the most in the NFL by a wide margin, according to ESPN Stats and Information Research. And Houston quarterback Deshaun Watson has the 2nd worst total QBR against the blitz. Though Watson is the best signal caller the Steelers have faced this short season, look for the defense to still get a ton of pressure on the quarterback and from everywhere on the field. Bold prediction, JJ and TJ Watt will combine for 5 sacks. The Watt brothers usually have to check their phones after playing in a game to see how the other pass rusher did. But on Sunday, they'll get to play in front of each other. In week 2, the Watts combined for 4.5 sacks, which was the 2nd most by a set of brothers in a single day in NFL history. They'll top that on Sunday. Stat to know, the Steelers have started 2-0 for the 7th time in the Ben Roethlisberger era since 2004. They went on to make the playoffs in each of the past 6 instances in 05, 07, 08, 10, 16, and 17. The Texans, on the other hand, are off to an 0-2 start for the 3rd time in the past 6 seasons, 15 and 18. But they recovered to make the playoffs in each of the previous 2 instances. What to know for fantasy? Pittsburgh running back James Conner sure looked healthy last week as he piled up 97.2% of the Steelers' rushing yards. He was the only running back with a rate north of 85% last week. Betting nugget, Pittsburgh is 7-13-2 against the spread as a favorite since 2018. Pittsburgh is the FPI favorite, 66.3%. I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers to win. I think Houston will keep it close, but I think Pittsburgh will pull away late. 27-17, Pittsburgh beats Houston, go to 3-0. So nothing more to say on that. And now we move on to the late games, and we have two 405 games on the mothership. And we're going to start it off with a renewal of an old school AFC East rivalry in our first 405 game. The New York Jets squaring off against the Indianapolis Colts at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, Melanie Collins will have the call. And Indianapolis, a huge favorite. Indy opening up as an 11.5-point favorite. Colts lead the all-time series 41-29. Their last meeting was 2 years ago in New York. The Jets won 42-34. Colts last beat the Jets in 2016. That was in New York as well, 41-10. Last game in Indy was 2015. Jets won 20-7. The Colts last beat the Jets at home in the AFC Championship game in January of 2010, 30-17. But their last regular season home win against the Colts, you got to go back to 2003 when they won a wild 38-31 game. So the Jets and the Colts renewing their rivalry from their old AFC East days. So here we go. What to watch for? What will the Colts defense do against a banged up Jets offense? The Colts are coming off a game with 3 sacks against the Vikings, and the Jets will likely be without their starting running back, center, right tackle, and top 3 receivers. Indianapolis should be able to keep its status as the NFL's best defense by the end of Sunday. Bold prediction, Colts defensive end Justin Houston and defensive tackle DeForest Buckner will combine for at least 3 sacks against the Jets' banged-up offensive line, which likely will be without center Connor McGovern and right tackle George Fant. Houston usually lines up over the left tackle, but he could flip sides. Rookie left tackle Mekhi Becton is the Jets' best lineman at the moment. Stat to know, Indianapolis T.Y. Hilton now has 13 games with fewer than 100 receivers dating back to 20, the longest streak of his career, and he has 7 consecutive games without a receiving touchdown, tied for the second longest such streak of his career, and his longest since 2015-16, also 7 straight. What to know for fantasy? In his first career start, Jonathan Taylor was one of 2 backs to carry the ball 20 times and rack up over 100 rushing yards in week 2. Since 2015, teams playing with a lead run the ball 46.6% of the time, 30.9% when trailing, and the Colts are the biggest favorite of week 3. Betting nugget, the Jets are one of 3 teams to lose both games by double digits this season. Indianapolis, the FPI favorite, 65.8%, just north of 66% for Indy. I'm going with Indy as well. Lock of the week, right? Indy wins going away, 31-13. Nothing more to say. MF, the Jets are a mess, and the Colts, coming off their first win, they beat Minnesota last week, and now they got a cupcake Jet team coming into Lucas Oil Stadium, and I think Indy should have no trouble with the Jets. So, MF, your thoughts on this other game of the week on our end?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Indy all the way, and no doubt about it. The Jets are just a complete and utter mess. There's really nothing more to say about that. I don't really got much more to add here, so I'm with you, Florio. Indy wins. On to the next game.
And it's our other 405 game on our side. Flex. We see on Fox, it ends up going to our side. The Carolina Panthers squaring off Los Angeles at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. Greg Gumbel, Rich Gannon, Jay Feely, they will have the call. The Chargers opening up as 6.5-point favorites, and series history, it favors the Carolina Panthers in a big way, 5-1. Panthers have won the last 3 meetings in this series, including the last meeting in 2016. That was in Charlotte, 28-16. Their last meeting at the Chargers was 2012. Carolina won going away 31-7. The Chargers have only beaten the Panthers once. That was in 2004. 17-6 final in Charlotte. So there's really nothing more to say here. Before I give it to MF, a quick update. Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals is now going to double overtime. 1 overtime was not enough. We need at least 1 more overtime. It's still tied at 2. Remember, once again, if the Lightning score, they win the Stanley Cup. If the Stars win, then we go to a Game 6 on Monday night. So a lot riding on that next goal. So we'll keep an eye on it as soon as we get it. So MF, Carolina, they dropped to 0-2 after losing to Brady and the Bucks last week. But, man, you got to feel – your heart had to break for the Chargers, man. I mean, they had the Chiefs right where they wanted them.
Yep.
But they just couldn't get it done. Another tough luck loss. I mean, no team has had more tough luck losses than the Chargers have. You got to feel for this team.
Yeah, you do. And you know what? Justin Herbert had to come in. Tyrod Taylor was a late scratch. Looks like the doctor didn't do his job right, and that actually gave Justin Herbert an opportunity to start, and he did very well. He did incredibly well. Played a great game, but like you said, it was Garrison Buckner, the field goal kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs that saved their hide last week. And, you know, that was a great game. 5-star classic, Shakespearean drama. And a lot of people going in didn't think it was going to be. And the Chargers and the Chiefs gave a yet another classic. What is it with the Chargers and the Chiefs? What is it with them? Every time these two teams play, something amazing happens. It doesn't matter when it is. If it's in Kansas City or if it was in San Diego or now in SoFi, and already first game out and they lit the building on fire. So there's really nothing more to add. But yeah, I gotta go with the Chargers. I think the Chargers will bounce back. I think they'll get the job done. For one, to know that Justin Herbert is going to be starting again, and he has been confirmed as the starter, he will start. He'll be fine. And plus, on top of that, they don't have Christian McCaffrey. That was the heart and soul of the Carolina Panthers. They don't have him on the field. Where do you rely? Who else steps up? I don't think there's anybody that can. So at the end of the day, I'm going to go with the Chargers to win this game, and it's going to be a close game. I'm going to say 17-7. I'm going to be very modest with this. 17-7, Chargers win. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. What to watch for? Will Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert be even better after working all week with the starters? He drew praise from his coaches after stepping into the starting lineup in week 2 just minutes before kickoff. Now they've had a week to work with him. Coach Anthony Lynn says he's as shy on the field as off it, but he looked sharp in his debut for the most part. Bold prediction, the Panthers will get a sack in 2 quarterback pressures. Not bold, consider that the Panthers still have no sacks through 2 games and only 6 pressures. But with the tendency of rookie quarterbacks to hold on to the ball too long trying to make a play, this feels like the game the sackless streak ends. Stat to know, the Chargers have called a designed rush on 54% of their offensive plays this season, the second highest rate in the NFL behind only the Rams, 55%, after ranking 25th in the NFL in designated rush percentage last season at 36%. What to know for fantasy? Los Angeles receiver Mike Williams' target share dropped from 33.3% in week 1 down to 12.9% in week 2 with Herbert under center. Betting nugget, the over is 11-4 in Carolina's past 15 games. Chargers are the FPI favorite, 63.4%. I agree with you, MF. I got the Chargers winning, but I think it's going to be a little more higher scoring and a little more closer than you think. I'm going to go with the Chargers to win 24-17. Give me the LA Chargers to knock off the Carolina Panthers. So nothing more to say. Let's move on to the 3 425 games that will be over on Fox. And we started off with the Detroit Lions squaring off against the Arizona Cardinals, University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, over on Fox. And we will see the legendary Dick Stockton along with Brady Quinn and Sarah Walsh. And Arizona opening up as a 5.5-point favorite. Detroit, though, leads the all-time series 33-28 with 6 ties. And speaking of ties, they played to a tie last season in Arizona. They played to a 27-27 tie last year. Detroit, though, won the last Detroit in 2018. They won in Arizona 17-3. There was a tie, but the Lions have won the previous 2 meetings. Cardinals, they last beat the Lions in 2015. That was in Detroit, 42-17. Their last home win against the Lions, 2014, 14-6. So Detroit and Arizona. Here's what you need to watch for. The Cardinals' offense keeps getting better every week, while the Lions have given up 27 and 42 points in the first 2 weeks, respectively. That doesn't bode well for Detroit taming Arizona, which should put on another offensive show and perhaps announce its arrival as one of the NFL's teams to watch this season. Bold prediction: Arizona quarterback Kyler Murray will have a 100-yard rushing and 250-yard passing day against the Lions. Detroit's defense has struggled against both the run and the pass this season, a large part of the Lions' 0-2 start. Considering Detroit's inability to create a pass rush with its defensive line, one sack, one quarterback hit, Murray might have the option to either take off or sit back and watch. Watch for him to take advantage of it over and over again Sunday. Stat to know, the Lions have lost 11 straight games, the longest active losing streak in the NFL, and the team's longest since it dropped 19 in a row over the 2007 to 2009 seasons. The Lions have also lost 4 straight games dating back to last season in which they led by 10-plus points at some point. And according to the Elias Sports Bureau, they're the first team in NFL history to blow a double-digit lead in 4 straight games. Ouch. What to know for fantasy? The list of active wide receivers with more touchdown receptions than Marvin Jones Jr. since 2017 is short. DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams, and Tyreek Hill. Betting nugget: the Lions have failed to cover in their past 6 road games. Arizona, big FPI favorite, 67.7%, just about 68% going with Zona. I 100% agree. I'm going with the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, they're going to put on another show at University of Phoenix Stadium. No doubt about this one. 38-21, Arizona beats Detroit. Nothing more to say. MF, we talk about how bad the Jets are. I think the Lions are just as bad. But what about the Arizona Cardinals? Here's a dark horse this season. We got to keep an eye on this team.
Oh, without a doubt. You definitely got to keep a very close eye on this team. They've been playing absolutely amazing lately. I do believe that they'll get the job done, and I got Arizona winning, so I really got nothing more to add. Anthony, I do want to interrupt you for a moment. I do got something for you. Coming out of the NBA, the Los Angeles Lakers are going to the NBA Finals. They put the Denver Nuggets away in Game 5 here tonight. Final score 117-107. The Lakers are going to the finals. They will be awaiting the winner of the Miami Heat Boston Celtics series. And in this bubble, the Lakers have made it to the championship round. So that's the final score from the NBA. Like we said, we're still waiting on the NHL, but the Lakers have punched their ticket to the NBA Finals.
First time since 2010, which was the last time they won it all as well. So big moment for them. Well, it didn't take long for LeBron to get back to the finals. That's all I know. He only had to miss it for 1 year, but he's back there. Wow, taking his 3rd different team to the finals. First it was the Cavs, then it was the Heat, and now it's the Lakers. So it doesn't matter when it comes to the Miami and Boston series. The Lakers will be the favorites to win it. So there's no doubt about that. So congratulations to them. Can't wait to see them in the finals. That's going to be a fun series no matter who comes out of the East. So Game 6 is tomorrow. But anyways, yes, let's move. Now we move on to our next matchup, our next 425 kickoff. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers squaring off against the Denver Broncos at Sports Authority Field at Mile High in Denver. And just give me 1 second here. Okay, I got everything I need. Tampa Bay and Denver up next. And on the call for that will be Adam Amin. Mark Schlereth going home to Denver. You know, he had so many great years as part of that Bronco defense. And Lindsey Czarniak will be on the sidelines while Adam and Mark are in the booth. So Tampa Bay opening up as a 5.5-point favorite. Denver, though, leads the all-time series 7-2. Broncos have won the last 4 meetings in this series. 2016 was the last meeting in Tampa. Denver won 27-7. Last meeting in Denver was 2012. Denver narrowly escaped 31-23. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have only won in Denver once, and that was all the way back in 1993. That was a 17-10 final. So nothing more to say about this one. So MF, Tampa Bay, you know, they got back on the winning track. Tom Brady and them, they finally found their groove against Carolina last week. Now they go into Denver. Can they keep it going?
Oh, wow. That's going to be a tough. I mean, it's very possible. There's no doubt about it. I mean, look, you got a problem with Denver. Denver has gotten injuries. They're not going to have their star quarterback. They're going to definitely have to rely on their backup. And I just don't know if Denver will be able to overcome all those odds with Brady, with Ronald Jones the second, with where he's played very well, to the receiving core like Mike Evans. I don't know if Evans is playing for this game, but I will say this: I do believe that Tampa should be able to maneuver around. They will get the job done, and I truly believe that and that's my prediction. So I believe that when it's all said and done, oops, sorry. That I do believe that the LA Lakers, not the Lakers. I'm sorry. I got the NBA on my mind right now. Um, I do believe the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will get the job done, and they will defeat, and get rid of the Denver Broncos. So I got Tampa winning. Anthony, it's yours.
What to watch for? Come on, man. It's Tom Brady. Now that he's moved to the NFC, this might, keyword might, be his last game in Denver, where Brady faces a statistical quirk in his storied career. The Broncos are the only team he does not have a winning record against. He has faced the Broncos 17 times in his career and is 8-9 overall against them. 7-6 in the regular season, but 1-3 in the playoffs. It will be a struggle for the injury-ravaged Broncos to keep Brady from getting back to 500. But to have any shot at stopping him, they will have to find a way to generate more of a pass rush. Denver cranked up 5-man rush packages just 4 times against the Steelers last week and surrendered touchdowns on 2 of those plays. Bold prediction, the Buccaneers will notch 5 more sacks this week, with 3 coming from Shaquille Barrett, chomping at the bit for his first sack of 2020 and returning to Mile High as the 2019 sack champion. The former Bronco has been primarily rushing from the left side this year, and right tackle Elijah Wilkinson has had 4 sacks against attributed to him in 2 games, more than any other player in the league. Stat to know, Denver tight end Noah Fant is averaging 14.3 yards of reception since entering the NFL in 2019, a rate that ranks second among tight ends in that time, Jared Cook with 60. He could become the first Bronco player with a receiving touchdown in 3 straight games since Demaryius Thomas did it in 2017. What to know for fantasy? The Buccaneers defense/special teams ranks 8th in fantasy points this season, and the Broncos are allowing pressure at the 3rd highest rate. Betting nugget, the over has hit in 14 of the past 16 Buccaneers games. Tampa Bay, the FPI favorite, 57.8%. I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning this game. I'm going to go 31-18. Tampa Bay beats Denver. So really nothing more to say on that. I believe we have 3 games left, and all 3 of these games, they're big ones. These are the 3 big games of the week right here. And we started off with America's game of the week on Fox. 4:25 kickoff. The Dallas Cowboys squaring off against the Seattle Seahawks at CenturyLink Field in Seattle. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Aaron Andrews, they will have the call. And Seattle opening up as a 4.5-point favorite. Dallas leads the all-time series 10-8. Their last meeting was a NFC wildcard playoff game, January of 2019 in Dallas. Dallas won 24-22. But the Seahawks have won each of the last 3 regular season games against Dallas, including 2018 in Seattle. Seattle won 24-13. Cowboys haven't won in Seattle since 2014, 30-23. So Dallas and Seattle, the first of our 3 huge big games of the week, and here we go. Okay, here we go. What to watch for? Russell Wilson and the Seahawks passing game have a favorable matchup against Dallas's banged-up defense. The Seahawks have leaned more on Wilson over the first 2 games, and he has delivered, including a 5-touchdown performance last week against New England's strong secondary. Now he faces a Cowboys defense that will not have cornerback Chidobe Awuzie or linebacker Leighton Vander Esch. With Seattle dealing with defensive issues of its own, this game might have shootout potential. Bold prediction, Wilson will throw for more than 300 yards. Yes, he has thrown for 610 yards with 9 touchdowns and just 11 incompletions in the first 2 games. But before you question my boldness, consider this. In 5 games against the Cowboys for his career, Wilson is averaging just 154.4 yards through the air. He has completed 78 of 125 passes for 772 yards in those 5 games. Stat to know, Wilson has completed 52 of 63 passes this season, 82.5% for the highest completion percentage in NFL history by a quarterback with at least 50 attempts through 2 games. and now he is looking to become just the 5th player ever to throw for 4 touchdowns in 3 consecutive games. Listen to this lineup: Peyton Manning, Dan Marino, Patrick Mahomes, and Drew Brees. Pretty damn good company. What to know for fantasy? Both Wilson and Dak Prescott are top 5 quarterbacks through 2 weeks, but Seattle has a pair of top 15 wide receivers while the Cowboys don't even have one. Betting nugget: Dallas has covered 8 of its past 10 as an underdog. Seattle, the FPI favorite, 60.6%, just about 61%. High scoring game. I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks to win 35-31. Seattle beats Dallas. Nothing more to say. MF, the first of our triple main event of games. Dallas and Seattle, America's game of the week on Fox. This one should be a beauty.
Should be a beauty. Should be a hard-fought game. I could even say high scoring because I think both teams are going to light it up. I think they're going to get a lot of scores, a lot of touchdowns, and I do agree. I think Seattle will get the job done. Look, they got the championship mentality. They went up against the New England Patriots 1 week ago, and they escaped with that win. But Dallas is also driven, too. You know, they fell behind, almost fell apart against Atlanta, and they showed their moxie, they showed their heart with a big win. So it can go either way, but I'm pretty sure that somebody's gonna break through, and I think it will be Seattle. I got the Seahawks winning this game. There's really nothing more to add. So Anthony Florio, 2 games to go.
The second part of our triple main event. Oh man. Speaking of shootouts, Sunday Night Football on NBC, the Green Bay Packers and the New Orleans Saints from the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. Mike Tirico sitting in for Al Michaels this week. Mike Tirico will be with Chris Collinsworth and Michelle Tafoya. I know. New Orleans opening up as New Orleans a 3-point favorite. And Green Bay leads the all-time series 16-9. Their last meeting was 2017 in Green Bay. New Orleans won 26-17. Last meeting in New Orleans also won that 44-23. Saints haven't won in the Dome since 2000. Packers haven't won. Let's see. Last time the Packers won in the Dome, you got to go all the way back to 1995.
Wow.
34-23. That's the last time Green Bay won in New Orleans in the Dome. But then again, they had some guy named Favre QBing them. So that's
true.
So, but nonetheless, MF, here we are. Green Bay, New Orleans, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees in the Dome on a Sunday night. Let's go.
High scoring, high offense. 2 really good offensive squads, but they are dealing with injuries. Michael Thomas will not play. Neither will Vontae Adams. He will not play. So you basically lose your number 1 threat on both sides of the ball. So there's really not much. The margin of error is going to be a little more different. That means you're going to see a lot of opportunities for certain teams in this game. So yeah, I'm gonna say this. It's gonna be a great game, a great battle. I'm gonna go in New Orleans at home. I feel like the Saints are better at home than they are on the road. So I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna go with the New Orleans Saints. I just feel like they're gonna win this game. So there's really nothing more to add. New Orleans wins it, but it's gonna be close, guys, and it's gonna be a high-scoring affair. 30, 38, 35. New Orleans knocks off Green Bay. Like I said, it's going to be a high-scoring affair, and expect both Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers to have absolute amazing games. I think both could go over 300 yards apiece, and I think they're going to have at least 2 or 3 touchdowns in the game. So nothing more to add. Florio, it's yours.
What to watch for? This one features 2 of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history, and both are still on a quest for that elusive second Super Bowl. This could be Drew Brees' last season at age 41, and he should be extra motivated to silence those predicting his demise after a slow start to the season. On the flip side, Aaron Rodgers is off to a great start, so we haven't heard any hot takes about rookie Jordan Love waiting in the wings to replace him. It's like when Peyton Manning and Tom Brady used to play, says NBC analyst Tony Dungy. It's a team game, but they understood they were going to have to be on top of their game for their team to win. Bold prediction, I've got this one soaring past the over with 60-plus points. This is the fifth meeting between Rodgers and Brees, and the average combined point total in those games was 69.5, the highest scoring quarterback matchup in the Super Bowl era, according to ESPN Stats and Information Research. The Packers have scored 40-plus in each of their first two games, and even though Brees and company have struggled, it's not like they're facing a defensive juggernaut in Green Bay's unit. Stat to know, the Packers lead the NFL in offensive efficiency rating, 94, and are one of four teams to record 500-plus passing yards and 400-plus rushing yards through their first two games of a season since the merger in 1970. The previous three, the 2019 Ravens, 1998 49ers, and 1978 Cowboys, all went on to make the playoffs. What to know for fantasy? Brees has scored under 15 fantasy points in consecutive games, something he didn't do in 2019. His upside is limited, given that he is averaging 4.8 air yards per throw this season. Betting nugget, New Orleans is playing its second straight primetime game. Teams playing their second straight primetime game are 16, 26, and 1 against the spread in the past 3 seasons, and 106, 126, and 3 against the spread in the past 20 seasons. New Orleans is the FPI favorite, 53.2%. But I'm sorry, MF, I disagree. I'm going with Green Bay. The Michael Thomas factor. That's it. So I'm going with Green Bay to win. High-scoring game, 37-33. Green Bay steals one in the Dome and goes to 3-0. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the game of the week, perhaps the game of the year of this short season. Monday Night Football, the game of the week on our side of the ledger, no matter how you slice it. The Kansas City Chiefs squaring off against the Baltimore Ravens. M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. Steve Levy, Brian Greasy, Louis Riddick, Lisa Salters. Kansas City leads Baltimore, a 3.5-point favorite. Kansas City leads the all-time series 6-3. Chiefs have won the last 3 consecutive meetings in this series, especially the last 2 years, which have been amazing. 33-28 last year at Arrowhead. They last met in Baltimore in 2015. Kansas City also won that one, 34-14. Baltimore last beat the Chiefs at home in 2009, 38-24, the final there. So nothing more to say, folks. The game of the week, and here we go. What to watch for? Can the Ravens jump out to another early lead? Since Lamar Jackson took over as Baltimore's starter midway through 2018, the Ravens are an NFL best 19-0 when leading at halftime, and 0-5 including the playoffs when trailing after 2 quarters. The Ravens haven't trailed at any point in the second half in their past 12 games, which is the third best streak in league history. Bold prediction, the Chiefs and Ravens will combine for 900-plus yards and at least 60 points. Both teams are in the top 10 in points allowed, but don't look for a defensive battle. This game will be similar to the one from Week 3 last season, when the meeting produced 955 yards and 61 points. Stat to know, the Ravens have won 14 straight regular season games, and the Chiefs have won 8 straight, the 2 longest active win streaks in the NFL. The last time 2 teams on 8-plus game win streaks met was 1969, when the LA Rams, 11 straight, hosted the Minnesota Vikings 10 straight. This also marks the 5th QB matchup between the reigning MVP Lamar Jackson and Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes. The Super Bowl MVP won the previous 4 matchups. What to know for fantasy? The quarterbacks will get the headlines, but when these 2 teams met in Week 3 last year, there were 3 running backs who reached double-figure point totals. Betting nugget, in the past 20 seasons, reigning Super Bowl champions are 11-1 against the spread as underdogs within the first 3 weeks of the season. And Mahomes is 10-2 against the spread in September games with 28 passing touchdowns and no interceptions. Baltimore is the FPI favorite at 59.6%, but I have to go with the Baltimore Ravens in this one. High-scoring affair, 34-31. Baltimore outlasts Kansas City in what should be a 5-star Shakespearean drama classic, and what I strongly believe will be a precursor to the AFC Championship game come January. So there's nothing more to say. I'm going to bring in the Phil Sims to my Jim Nance, good old MF Michael Fletcher. Whew. Kansas City, Baltimore, Monday night. Hello, friends.
Yeah, when we heard this game, we all were kind of like, oh my God, what's this battle going to look like? And then when we found out that it's going to be, that this is the game, oh man, if it needed any more excitement or any more drama or anything like this, and ESPN, my God, what a game you got. You guys are so lucky to get this matchup. Like you said, this is the big one. It don't get no bigger than this. It don't get no better than this. It's gonna be incredible. Nothing more to say. And I agree. Baltimore wins. Baltimore is the more superior team. I think they're going to have a great game. It's going to be an incredible matchup all the way to the very end. And yeah, I'm going to go with the Ravens, and this is going to I got it even more higher than Anthony does. I think it's going to be 42-38. I got the Ravens winning the game. You're absolutely right. I think both guys are really gonna shine. I think big games for both Patrick Mahomes and for Lamar Jackson. I think they're gonna shine. You're gonna see the two MVPs literally light it up on Monday night on a not only a national televised audience but a worldwide audience, because Monday Night Football is very big around the world. So yeah, this is going to be an incredible game. I wish this was the game where they could have done the I know the game last week was the anniversary game, so they wanted it the simulcast on ABC. This should have been the game. Oh my God, what a matchup this would have been if this would have been on ABC. Oh man, the fans would have gone nuts. But it's going to be a great game. Nothing more to say. Anthony, let's just call it a night.
Yes, and by doing so, we can fully focus on what's going on with Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final right now. So we're going to I'll do my best to quickly wrap it up. That will put the bow on this Week 3 edition of NFL Saturday. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. We'll be back with you tomorrow night. MF will have it, Brace Fan 95. We will recap the Clash of Champions pay-per-view. Monday night, Ridiculously Raw, right back here on the Tone 25. Wednesday Night Mayhem, AEW Dynamite, NXT as usual. It's also the go-home show for NXT TakeOver. Thursday, College Football Thursday. 2 huge games in the SEC, Texas A&M and Alabama, Auburn and Georgia. So many other great matchups. We'll get into that on Thursday. Friday Night SmackDown. We'll review that, the Cerebral Smack Talk. Hopefully MF will be back for that one. And we'll also get into NXT TakeOver. And then next Saturday night, right back here, Week 4 of NFL Saturday. And looking at the matchups that I see, oh my, we got some more standout matchups. We got Indy against Chicago. We got Cleveland against Dallas, Seattle and Miami, of course. Pittsburgh and Tennessee. That game just got interesting. Dallas scores. We're going to Game 6. There you go. That's it, folks. We're not going to see the Cup tonight. We're going to a Game 6 on Monday night. I'm not at all surprised. I had Dallas actually winning, believe it or not. So, score one from me. I got this one right. So, all right. But anyways, next week, like I said, Indy and Chicago, Cleveland, Dallas, Chargers, Tampa Bay.
Hold. Wait. Oh. I think we might have a challenge.
Well, we'll keep an eye on this. But let me run down the schedule for next week. Some of the standout notable games: Pittsburgh and Tennessee, Patriots and Chiefs. Wow, don't get no bigger than that. Buffalo and Las Vegas, and so much more. We'll get into that next Saturday night. So that will put the bow on this. So until tomorrow night for the Clash of Champions recap show with MF over on Braves Fan 95, Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, Michael Bullock, Didi Woodson, Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up 14-4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Sunday. And until tomorrow night, you've been watching Week 3 of Strictly Sports NFL Saturday right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.